Okay, so deep reinforced dropped Ornith-1.0-35B 12 days ago, and a 35 billion open weights model just beat a 397 billion parameter model on the hardest coding test. Either the benchmarks broke or something real happened here.
Something real, Zwi. The same Qwen 3.5 family was sitting at 41.4 on Terminal Bench 2.1 out of the box. The post-train version hit 64.2. That is a 22-point jump from the same starting weights.
Hold on, how do you add 22 points to the exact same base model without throwing it away and training a bigger one? What is the trick?
They reward the search procedure too, not just the answer. The model writes a plan, tries solutions under that plan, and gets graded on both. So it learns to plan better, which lets it solve harder problems.
So the training loop is the thing they got right, and the model size barely matters anymore. Every coding benchmark on Earth looks different by Christmas.
Every coding benchmark, yes. And the interesting question is which other benchmarks reward procedure over output, and how fast open source ships the next 35B with the same trick. 12 days ago, a 35 billion parameter model from a lab most people have never heard of beat a 397 billion parameter model from one of the biggest AI companies in the world on the hardest coding test that exists. Same family, 11 times smaller when it actually runs. The numbers are not close. Ornith-1.0-35B scored 64.2 on Terminal Bench 2.1, where higher is better and the test throws an AI into a real computer and watches it finish a task. The 397 billion parameter rival, it is meant to be compared against. Qwen 3.5-397B scored 53.5. Same test, same year. The smaller model wins by almost 11 points. The base model is the standard open Qwen 3.5 mixture of experts at 35 billion total, roughly 3 billion active per token. Out of the box, that exact base scores 41.4 on the same terminal bench. Deep reinforced post-trained it, and the score jumped by 22.8 points. That is not fine-tuning. That is the model learning a new skill. Here is the part nobody is talking about. Across 9 agentic coding benchmarks, the post-trained 35B beats the 397B on Terminal Bench 64.2 to 53.5, ties it on SW Bench Multilingual at 69.3, and on SWE Atlas Q&A more than doubles it, 37.1 to 20.4. 11 times fewer active parameters per token. The size is no longer the moat. The recipe is what they call self-scaffolding reinforcement learning, and here is the part that should give you pause, Zwi. Normally an AI is rewarded only for the final answer. Here the reward covers the search procedure too. The model is rewarded for writing a better way to look, then for finding a better answer with that better way. The climax beat is the SWE Atlas result. On a benchmark built from real pull requests and real repositories, where higher is better and the model fixes a genuine bug from scratch, Ornith 1.0-35B scored 37.1 on the question slice. Qwen 3.5-35B scored 13.2. That is 2.8 times the base score. And here is the catch, and it is a real one. To run it well you need recent serving software, VLLM 0.19.1 or newer, SGLang 0.5.9 or newer, and a node of 880GB graphics cards. There is a 5-bit GGUF port that runs on one card, and an Apple Silicon MLX build that runs on a Mac. But the headline benchmark numbers come from the big rig. The community moved fast. In 12 days, Deep Reinforce and outside quantizers shipped GGUF at 285,000 downloads, FP8 at 42,000, NVFP4 at 23,000, and MLX for Apple Silicon at 12,000. 20 variants. Bartowski, the well-known community quantizer, beat the original repo in downloads within a week. For anyone running coding agents, this changes the assumption. The old assumption was that a giant closed model was needed to clear the agentic coding bar. The new assumption is that a well-trained 35 billion open model with the right reinforcement learning recipe can match the giants, and the weights are MIT licensed. The next coding race will not be measured in parameters. It will be measured in how cleverly a lab can reward the search procedure, not just the final answer. Ornith 1.0-35B is the first 35 billion parameter proof that the recipe is now stronger than the size. Every coding benchmark will look different by the end of the year.
Yeah, the model size just stopped being the headline. Subscribe if you want the next time a training recipe quietly eats a benchmark the giants thought they owned.